from Upper Michigan's news source. This is your Fox UP News in prime time.
Weather first on Fox. The official high at the Weather Service office here in Negaunee was 75 degrees, a few shades warmer than average. Official sunset was just a few moments ago at 9:44, so lots of sunlight these days. Here's what we saw around the rest of the UP for highs. Low 80s in our favorite warm spots. Here's a quick check on those current temperatures everywhere. 50s, 60s, and low 70s. More on tonight and the rest of your work week's weather during the next few minutes. Samantha, back to you.
Thanks, Sean. Forsyth Township residents gathered at the Throttle Bar in Little Lake earlier tonight for a moderated forum on the issue of licensed medical marijuana facilities in the township. Good evening, I'm Samantha Rivera. Fox UP's Tyler Markle brings us more from the forum.
The Forsyth Township Medical Marijuana Initiative organized tonight's forum, hoping to get community members on both sides of the issue out to express their support or voice their concern.
The idea really tonight is to have a public conversation and have a platform provided to our community where people feel safe to come here and express either their support or concerns, knowing that this is a moderated event. It's not going to get out of hand.
The goal of the initiative is to get Forsyth Township to adopt zoning that will allow licensed medical marijuana facilities in the township, both for producing and distribution.
The main reasoning behind that is because we would like to make safe medicine accessible to those who choose medical marijuana over pharmaceuticals, for example.
The forum was filled with supporters.
I think our community should have safe access, and more than that, regulated and tested so that they know, just like when you go to the pharmacy and you get your aspirin, you know what you're buying.
The reasons for support even extend beyond the medicinal benefits of marijuana, but also to added jobs and tax revenue for the township. Still, there were some concerns. One brought up was the potential for criminal activity in relation to the facilities. Supporters believe facilities would actually curb crime.
I would say there's a better chance of crime with people searching on the streets rather than if they were to go to a regulated facility, kind of like a pharmacy.
The initiative is currently working to petition the Forsyth Township Board. If you would like to get involved or even express your concerns, you can find a link to the organization's Facebook page on your website. Reporting in Little Lake, I'm Tyler Markle, Fox UP.
As we see across the country and here in the UP, an emergency can happen at any time. So to prepare, the Humboldt Mill hosted a community-wide emergency response training. Humboldt Township Fire and Champion First Responders partnered with the Mill's emergency response team. Crews responded to a simulated explosion at the mine, with victims sorted into color categories depending on the severity of their injuries to determine the order in which they would be treated.
We take great effort to avoid to prevent all of these incidents, and we've had a very good record at doing so.
You never know when something could happen. You know, you have all these other incidents throughout the country that happen, and nobody thinks that they're going to happen there either.
Humboldt Mill says they'll take what they've learned from today's training to adapt their future plans for their response plans for the future. And in state news, the DNR is getting federal funding to improve shooting ranges in Michigan. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recently approved $1.25 million over a 5-year period for the Department of Natural Resources. The money will provide up to 75% of funding for improvements to shooting ranges throughout Michigan. Those selected for funding by the DNR must provide the 25% matching funds for their project. We have more information on our website at uppermichigansource.com. And high school students can now use their internship and work experience toward graduation credits under legislation signed today by Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley. The House bills were sponsored by UP State Representative Bo LaFave. And now public acts allow juniors and seniors to receive graduation credit for an internship lasting the same length of time as a traditional course in the school districts. Students would have to attend the internship 4 to 10 hours per week. Internships could be paid or unpaid. And tests are done and grades are in for 2 big brand SUVs. The Jeep Grand Cherokee and Ford Explorer were among 8 SUVs tested for a violent front-end collision. A testing done by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Those two were the only ones to earn a poor rating, the worst of 4 possible ratings. In 40 miles per hour tests where the vehicles use right front bumper simulating hitting a tree or pole, the Explorer's door frame was crushed inward by more than a foot. That would likely mean hip injuries with lower leg injuries possible. A Grand Cherokee's passenger compartment also crushed inward with the crash test dummy hitting the dashboard, likely meaning head and leg injuries. Both the Explorer and Grand Cherokee received a marginal rating when the drivers side tested the same way. Ford and Jeep are still defending their vehicles as safe. The terror detention facility at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, is still open despite a pledge from President Obama to close it. Now, President Trump is betting on a long future for the prison, asking Congress for hundreds of millions of dollars to expand operations there. Fox's Jennifer Griffin has more.
Detainees at Guantanamo Bay praying during the holy month of Ramadan. 40 men remain there, locked up longer than a decade. Now the joint task force that oversees the prisoners is being given a new mission, fulfilling one of President Trump's signature campaign promises, finding a way to keep the facility open indefinitely. And that means Gitmo is getting a makeover to house and care for an aging population.
A new Camp 8 would replace the current capacity, and it would have the ability to have maybe roll a hospital bed in there, definitely get a wheelchair in there.
But it won't be cheap. The White House is asking Congress for more than $300 million to upgrade the facility at a time when many Democrats and a growing number of Republicans are pushing to bring the detainees to the U.S. But the man responsible for housing them says they're the worst of the worst.
The people we have in here now are accused of executing or planning events that killed Americans.
That answer not likely to satisfy groups who have been challenging Gitmo's legality in court for more than a decade. They say security is not an issue and politics is the only reason the facility remains open.
The shoe bomber, the underwear bomber, the Boston Marathon bombers, all housed in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, not a single security incident.
It's still not clear if or when Congress plans to consider the administration's request to fund the upgrades at Guantanamo Bay for this small, aging group of enemy combatants. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
A voting law known as Use It or Lose It is upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court and drawing ire from voting rights advocates. A court upheld by a slim 5-4 majority that the state of Ohio has a right to purge its own voter registration rolls if voters fail to confirm their registration status and if they don't vote within a certain period. Ohio's confirmation clock on active voter status starts if voters sit out a 2-year period, including just one federal election. They're removed from the rolls if they fail to vote over the following 4 years or do not return an address confirmation card. Opponents of the law had said their intent is to purge people from the rolls, particularly minorities and the poor who tend to vote Democratic, and that the law was a violation of the National Voter Registration Act. But the court said Ohio is not removing the right to vote solely because they failed to vote, but also because they didn't return the address confirmation form. Justice Samuel Alito said at least 24 million voter registrations in the U.S. have serious flaws or are invalid. That brings us to our daily polls question. Do you agree with the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to uphold Ohio's controversial voting law? To share your thoughts, go to TV6 and Fox UP's Facebook page and vote. We'll have the results of this question at the end of the newscast. And coming up next, Marquette is hosting the 27th annual Fish Boil this weekend. Find out when and where. And later, learn about a fun and new fundraiser concert happening tomorrow night. We'll be right back.
You're watching your Fox UP News in prime time with Samantha Rivera and Chief Meteorologist Carl Bonak.
Welcome back. The Upper Peninsula Animal Welfare Shelter is in the final fundraising phase for construction on their new location. They're also looking for the public's input on new kids club programs coming in the next year. The No Kill Shelter is partnering with libraries in Marquette County, getting input from kids, their parents, and others interested in volunteering for youth activities. UPAW staff say it's best to hear from the public about programs they want to see.
I can do research all day long on the internet on what other animal shelters do for kids clubs programs. So we have some ideas, but you know, you never know unless you ask. So we want to know what our community wants to see.
The first meeting is taking place at the Negaunee Public Library tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Future meetings are coming all summer long to the Forsyth, Ishpeming, and Marquette areas. For the full list of dates and times, you can head over to our website at uppermichigansource.com. Looking to have a little fun this weekend while giving back to the community? Well, the 27th annual Fish Boil is this Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Lake Superior Theater Yacht Club in Marquette. The event, held every year by the Marquette Breakfast Rotary Club, features live and silent auctions. Food and drinks are provided with the purchase of a ticket, with cocktails, whitefish, and ribs available. With the help of local sponsors, all proceeds from Saturday's event support local youth programs.
The organizations we typically help are youth-focused organizations such as the Upper Peninsula Children's Museum, Camp Star, and various other organizations that focus on youth.
New this year, we do have a dance floor, so there's going to be some dancing that's available, and it's just a wonderful event for folks to come on out and help support the youth in our area.
Since the first Fish Boil in 1992, the Marquette Breakfast Rotary has raised almost $400,000 for local organizations. For more information about the event, including how you can get your ticket, you can head over to our website at uppermichigansource.com. Now, the results from today's financial markets. On Wall Street, you can see Dow Jones is down 119.53 and NASDAQ also down 8.09. And here's a look at today's local stocks. RTI Surgical down 105, ending at 78.02, and Walgreens up 21, finishing at 63.91. Sean, you mentioned tomorrow's looking beautiful with lots of sunshine, but people can expect a very unsettling weekend?
That's right, Samantha. We want you to stay weather aware. Now, your Thursday is practically perfect. We couldn't concoct a better day for you. Now, the weekend is also turning hot and sticky, and that humidity may fuel some potentially stronger storms. It'll be a good day to stay weather aware. We'll see some heavy rains, too. Those details straight ahead. We'll be back right after these words. Hey folks, thanks for joining us. Obviously, Carl has the night off. I'm Sean Householder. We'll look at local temperatures, and they're kind of all over the place here. We've cooled down to 58 according to our sensor in Iron River. That's an impressive quick cool shot. It's 54 right now in Sault Ste. Marie. They were not very warm through the entire day. 57 in Copper Harbor too. We tend to cool down quickly once we lose that prime sun angle. Of course, the sun has set. 57 in Munising, also a cool spot through most of the day. 71 in Marquette, 65 for our friends in Escanaba, still 67 down in Menominee. 69 degrees right now in Ontonagon, 68 in Houghton. So we obviously have the sort of summertime heat, but not so much the humidity right now. It's pleasantly warm, so dew points mostly into the 40s and low 50s. Houghton's got a dew point of 38 degrees, 39 for a dew point in Copper Harbor. So that indicates a very dry air mass in place. It's almost too dry. In fact, we've been marginal with our fire threat, so we still want you to use caution burning and grilling around any open flame or spark, extinguishing your tobacco products, etc., until we really get some drought-busting rains. So this type of weather, though, leads to nice conditions, and Thursday is going to be a beautiful day, similar to what we saw this afternoon. And then Friday, and certainly Saturday and Sunday are trending a little hotter, and certainly on the humid side. And that humidity can potentially fuel some strong storms, and storms may produce some severe elements, including damaging straight-line winds. There's a chance for some hail, and of course, any storm will produce lightning. There's also a chance for some heavy rain, too. Back to what's happening right now. You can see regionally things nice and quiet in the wake of that low-pressure system. You can see that classic comma shape these things develop as it moves over towards Quebec and far eastern Ontario. We're watching this next weather system, and that's what's going to produce some strong to severe storms into our neck of the woods. We'll take a quick break. We'll have more on that after this. So Thursday's a nice day. Friday starts dry, but it deteriorates very quickly. You can see the oranges and reds indicating the heavier rainfall and the chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms. And a similar story to be told into our Saturday. So the entire weekend, it's a good time to stay weather aware, and we'll keep you advised. Nice night tonight, upper 40s and low 50s. There may be some patchy fog. There'll be a lake breeze tomorrow, and that keeps the shorelines coolest, struggling to break out of the 60s again. 70s in most locations and low to mid 80s in our favorite warm spots. There's that extended forecast, and it does turn unsettled these next few days. Samantha?
Thanks, Sean. Remember, you can get the weather anytime with the TV6 and Fox UP mobile app. It's available on Apple and Android products, plus it's free to download, so you can get it in the App Store or Google Play. Marquette Rockestra and the Marquette Area Public Schools are back by popular demand for a new fundraiser concert tomorrow night. This year's concert is called Sounds from the 60s. Together, 40 local musicians, including students, will recreate the greatest hits from the 1960s, including pop, rock, jazz, and country music. And all the money made from the performance will go directly back to the Marquette Schools music programs.
Choir, band, and orchestra really need money for honors choir, honors band. Like, it's very expensive to compete for things, and we all want a chance to show our talent and hopefully be represented by Marquette at its best.
The show starts at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow at the Kaufman Auditorium. Tickets are available online or at the door. You can visit uppermichigansource.com for more information. And joining us now is Greg Trick. Greg, what's coming up on tonight's TV6 Late News?
Samantha, tonight U.S. senators are saying they can produce what the agriculture and dairy industry needs, and that's security. We have a report on the new farm bill from our Washington bureau. Also tonight, a retreat for young adults with cancer is coming to Upper Michigan. We'll take a look at their new location in Autrain. And you'll meet a young girl in the Keweenaw making her mark on the baking scene, using her talents for a catering business. We'll have those stories and much more tonight. Samantha?
Thanks, Greg. Next in sports, find out why some Packers players are skipping out this week's mandatory minicamp. We'll be right back. As Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy excused players in their 6th year or more from this week's mandatory minicamp. That gives rookies and young players more reps and review time prior to the long break before training camp. Rookie receivers Jamon Moore and Equanimous St. Brown have been making the most of their chances. Both made eye-popping plays against top pick Jair Alexander.
Yeah, it's a good day, but I also look, for my lineman assignment. Am I reading the right coverages? Am I running the right routes? Stuff like that as well.
I feel like everything stands out, especially the eye in the sky, which is, the cameras, they're recording, the coaches going back, evaluating. Everything stands out. They see everything. So you just got to be on your toes, period.
Well, when I was rookie, we didn't take as many reps, live reps, when the vets were around. So I think it'd be good for them to take advantage of that.
Against Tennessee. And Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto congratulated the United bid for being the host for the 2026 FIFA World Cup on his Twitter account. A joint bid of the United States, Mexico, and Canada beat Morocco in Wednesday's vote. It marks the first time 3 countries host the World Cup together and the first tournament in multiple countries since the 2002 edition in Japan and South Korea. Coming up next, results of our daily polls question. Do you agree with the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to uphold Ohio's controversial voting law? That and more right after the break. The results of our Daily Pulse question are in. Do you agree with the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to uphold Ohio's controversial voting law? 38% said they agree and 62% do not. Thanks to everyone who voted tonight. To see viewer comments on this question, you can visit TV6 and Fox UP's Facebook page. And please be sure to vote in our next Daily Pulse question. Finally tonight, the Mr. Michigan bodybuilding title has once again returned to the UP, and with a new winner this year. Escanaba's Casey Keel was recently given the title after beating out the best of the best from across Michigan. This was a 41-year-old's fourth time competing in the contest, saying every year he's learned from previous competitions, and this year it all just came together. Keel trains at the Great Lakes Fitness in Escanaba, where the gym's owner is a former Mr. Michigan himself. Keel says the last few weeks prior to the competition, he bumped up his workout routine.
During competitive time, for the last probably 6 to 8 weeks, it's been about 3 hours a day. I do an hour of cardio in the morning, about 45 minutes to an hour workout in the night evening, and then another 45 minutes to an hour of cardio at night.
Keel is currently looking for sponsors to help him go on and compete at the national competition in Miami later this year. Sean, could you ever do bodybuilding?
I don't think so. He works out more than I sleep. So.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. What does the weather look like tonight?
It's looking pretty ideal. Temperatures will mostly be into the low 50s and upper 40s for some. Mostly clear skies. There'll be some patchy fog. Sets the stage for just a perfect Thursday. It's going to be nice. Too bad it's a work day.
That is true. All right, thanks, Sean. And that's all we have for tonight. For everyone here at Fox UP, I'm Samantha Rivera. Have a great night.